Hello, this video is going to show you a little bit about the navigation features of the solar system scope model, which is a really cool way of looking at the solar system online. It's free, it's virtual, and it's got a lot of stuff. So I'm going to open this up, and all you got to do is click Start. As long as these numbers are changing, yours may be slower than sometimes than others, it's going to go to 90%. Then it's going to load up over here. And as long as this bar is moving, you're okay. Even if it goes a little bit slow, it may be your Wi-Fi connection or bandwidth or number of users. But it's going to load up. Welcome to the solar system. And then it's going to ask me to click the screen anywhere to start the model. So we're just going to focus on navigating. I'm going to show you some of the settings. I'm going to show you some of the features in another video. There's 2 other videos to check out. So to navigate, very, very simple. You start with this view right here. If I want to pan up and down or left and right, I just left click my mouse, and then this is moving up, and this is moving down, so I can look at the solar system from the bottom or from the top, and this is moving my finger to the left, which pans me to the right, and over the other way, so I can move around and I can check things out as I would like to. And then, of course, I can also click over here. This zooms me in and out by going up here. This zooms me in. And by going down, I can zoom out. And I can zoom all the way out so that you can't really see our sun anymore, and then other things. And then basically, I can show a view of the Milky Way galaxy and where we are in relation. And then if I zoom all the way in, we go in here. And I'm going very quickly. It's kind of neat to do that slowly. And I get all the way to our solar system. So that's how I navigate and check things out, moving things around. Now, if I want to look from different planets, all I have to do is click on the planet. And also this works for some of the other bodies. For example, we'll look here. We'll just go to Saturn. So I'm going to highlight Saturn, the actual planet, not the name, but the planet, and double click. And that's going to fly me in to Saturn. And so it's going to take me to Saturn, and it's going to show me a very kind of a close-up view. I can see the octagon on the top there, and I can see the rings. And I was able to see some of the moons as I flew in. That would be a view of the sun from Saturn if you were at Saturn right now. So this is a pretty close-up view. I can navigate to the whole planet system by clicking here, planet system. And this pulls me out, and this shows me some of the major moons. And some of these moons are pretty far away from the actual planet itself. And for many moons, I can click on them and double-click, and this takes me to this moon. And then I can pan around here, and I can find where the planet is. Where's the planet? If I looked hard enough, I'd be able to find Saturn. But this is really far away from Saturn, and in fact, Saturn may be difficult to even see. I think it's over there. Well, either way, that's how you get to the actual moons. So I'm going to go back to the planet system right here, and then I can click on, it takes me back there. There we go. Back to the planet system. So that's how I look at the entire planetary system, and then I can click back on Saturn itself, and this takes me to the planet itself, like I was at the beginning. Now, a couple other things I can navigate to right here, which are very handy. This encyclopedia is fantastic. If I click this, this shows me lots of different pieces of information about Saturn. Very accurate information. Equatorial diameter is how big around it is at the equator, basically right here of the planet. The mass, like how heavy it is in kilograms. The average mean distance from the sun in astronomical units. I could probably change that to miles in the settings, but AUs are basically 1 astronomical unit is how far the Earth away is from the sun. So this would be 9.57 times that. The rotation period, this would be in hours and minutes because it's less than a day. This rotates, spins on its axis pretty quickly. So sometimes you'll see it in a number of Earth days if they go slowly. Sometimes you'll see it in hours. So this is why this is like this. So the solar orbit period, this is like a year, is 29 Earth years. So for every 1 Earth year, it takes 29 of those for Saturn to go 1 time around the sun. The surface gravity, 10.4 meters per second squared. And then the surface temperature, minus 193, very, very cold. I can also scroll down a bit, and I can see some more text information, some more reading, which is pretty good to look at as well, and observations and whatnot. So this is really, really good information. Very low level, very basic stuff. But if this is what you're looking for, you definitely can get it here. You don't have to Google anything. It's all right here for you. And then you can also look at the structure. If I click that, this says if I opened up the planet, what would it look like? And there's like a solid core, and then the liquid mantle, and the atmosphere is mostly hydrogen, helium. So this tells us about that. we're all familiar with the Earth model that does this. This allows us to do this on all the other planets, and I believe the moon and some of the other moons as well. As long as we know what's in there, NASA's provided the information, so we have these models here. So this is really cool way of looking at this. So I'm going to go back, though. I'm here, but I want to look at the other planets again. So how I do that, there's a couple different ways. I can go to Switch Planet, and that takes me neatly first to the moons. So if I want to look at the moons of Saturn, I can do that. But I don't want to look at the moons of Saturn. I want to look at planets. So let's look at Saturn again, and we'll go Switch Planet again. And then I click Solar System. There we go. And this takes me to the other planets. So I can go to any other planets that I want to. There we go. And I can get that. If I wanted to look at everything, though, I just click on Solar System. And I click that, and it takes me back to the solar system. So let's go back to the Earth view really quick. Double click that and get over here. And it's going to zoom me in. And then I can also check out a couple different things here. The night sky I'll show you in a little bit, but this view here shows things as they are. Depending on other views that I have, if I have the time different, and I'll show you that in a second, then this view will look different. But this view is how things are right now, as opposed to at some other time. I can also turn things on. I can turn the spacecraft lines on, and then I would be able to see the spacecraft where they are going around the Earth or other planets as well. You can turn a spacecraft little thing on. I'll show you that in the settings video, and you can see where things are. So this is the basics of the navigation. There's a few other little tricks that you can do. I'm going to go back to the solar system. We're not going to worry about these things. They're definitely need to check out. Our focus, of course, though, is this. And one more thing I will say about navigation that is important. When I look at this view here, if I zoom in especially, we need to realize that these bodies, these objects, are much, much larger on the model than they are in real life relative to each other. For example, Earth is not nearly this big relative to the sun. The moon isn't this big or close to the Earth relative to the Earth. Mercury isn't this close to the sun relative to the sun. The reason why they have this model like this is because it's a lot easier to check things out if we have things so that we can see them. If I put these as real sizes, it's really cool. Definitely recommend doing that, but it's really difficult to see which planet is where, and you really appreciate how the planets are vastly different. So having a different model size is actually handy, as long as we realize and we understand these things are actually a little or a lot different in terms of their relative sizes. One thing that is reasonably accurate is Mercury is the closest to the sun, and it's a decent way from Mercury. Mercury is closer to the sun than Venus is to Mercury, and then you go farther out to Earth. And then if I zoom out, you'll notice that to get from Earth to Mars is pretty far. To get from Mars to Jupiter is really far, and then much farther to Saturn. Uranus is even farther. So that's kind of accurate, how the distances get much, much greater as we move farther away and farther to the outer planets. So that is how you navigate around. And the other two videos will show you a little bit about settings and a little bit about some of the features. I touched on a few of those already, but it'll kind of go over a few more things. So good luck, have fun.